built a really cool platform for NFTs where, before what you mostly did is bought and sold and owned NFTs, and there's a little bit of staking and things like that that are coming in. But the NFTs generally, especially on Ethereum, but others as well, they're not really designed to be actively used. It has been for so long that there sort of hasn't been the imagination there to say, well, what else could we do with them? It's so expensive, no one's going to do it. Now suddenly we go, well, it's basically free. It's just enough of a price. It's going to be 3 cents or something. They will be 3D, even though they're 8-bit punks. We also have things where they have bodies and they have the same basic generation protocols formulas that we use to make layered 2D generation. We can do 3D in Blender and automate that and have those for everybody who buys one.
This episode is brought to you by Bird, a Binance Incubator Labs participant. Bird is on the cusp of releasing their most anticipated product yet. Showcased at the Binance Labs Demo Day, it's called the Customized Investor Launchpad Score. Bird harnesses the power of predictive analytics to push the Web3 user experience to new heights. Visit bird.money to learn more about machine learning and ethically mined user data via decentralized oracles and APIs. Link in the description below. If you want to see more videos and interviews like this from influential people in tech, finance, and sports, subscribe to the channel and make sure you hit the bell to be alerted. And go a step further and join the YouTube and membership area for early releases of videos like this. I'm out of here. It's your boy Crypto Blood, and we've got another kicking session today. I've got a returning guest, DougHorn. I can't believe I just looked, Douglas. It has been over a year since I've had you on. We literally did the last interview February of 2021, and it's crazy it's been that long, but a lot has changed. You look a year younger. And I mean, man, I know it's not all, I don't talk price that much, but I think Telos was at 2 cents. I last did an interview with you.
Yeah.
And
somewhere in there we did 100x.
Yeah.
We went from somewhere in about that zone. We went from like under a penny.
Yep.
To $1.40.
Yeah.
And then things recently just kind of like had some troubles, but
that's just market conditions, in my opinion. Nothing
right.
Fundamentally.
Oh yeah.
In my opinion,
actually, we've done quite well. Like, if people who judge this like on USD prices, it's been not what I'd want, but if you judge it like go throw up that Bitcoin, Telos Bitcoin price.
Oh yeah, outperformed by
grown
leaps and
really
bounds.
Against Bitcoin and Ethereum. It's grown, and then set it up for like a year.
Yeah, so
yeah,
I mean,
some serious growth in all of them.
For sure. Yeah. But I've been getting praises for calling Telos, and it wasn't even on like, it's kind of crazy because in this game, you know how cryptos are. We got coins like Cardano worth billions and billions of dollars. Finally, just now, that are just finally getting something tangible, like little stuff. I'm not, trying to shit on them or anything, but so you never know how the markets will actually price. And I still think this token is really underpriced. That's not what we're here to talk about, but I just want to say, like, I was really confident in what Telos was building back then, a year ago, 2 years ago, and that's why I always used to have you on the show.
I would bet that a lot of people in Telos right now, and a lot of people who enjoyed that real big 100x run up, probably heard about Telos first on your show.
Yep, I bet.
So you should be getting a lot of people thanking you.
Yeah, man. So, we've got, we're doing a lot of stuff. Detroit Ledger Technologies, formerly known as EOS Detroit. We're doing some things with Telos, getting back involved in the community as well. So I'm glad to see that. And we'll talk about that on another show. But today I want to talk to Doug. He's got something new for us. And this is, I want to play this track really quickly on this website, telospunks.com. Check that out, people.
Yeah. You thought we'd make it a little more fun.
So tell us about this project here. This is something unique. This is not your normal NFT release. We've got some game components to it. We got some other stuff. So let's just walk through it. Actually, before we do that, because I do have people that still don't know about Telos and what your involvement is with it. Kind of just let people know about Telos in a real quick elevator pitch, if you could.
Yeah,
Put me on the spot, Doug.
No. I'm my favorite topic. So Telos is a third generation blockchain. It is based on the EOS.IO protocol, but it's very, very different than EOS in its formation and a lot of things about it. We have been huge builders. So it was no ICO. It's totally flat. There's no whales. It's really, truly community driven. And to ensure that, we built a lot of great community governance tools. So it's a leader in that, it's a leader in ESG, in energy, social and governance. And we really build a lot. And evidence of that is Telos. We spent about a year building our own EVM, Telos EVM, and it's been launched for several months now. We really put a lot into it. It's the world's fastest EVM. It's very, very low price. We didn't even, at first we were going to go for being the cheapest, and then we realized it didn't even make sense to go for being the cheapest because it was so cheap that it created, DDoS exploits and stuff. So we're very, very cheap. We're the fastest. There's no front running, and DeFi is kind of exploding on Telos, and lots of the TVL has just rocketed up. We're rocketing up on DeFi Llama and DApp Radar and stuff like that for usage. So just lots of great stuff's happening. And boy, it actually makes DeFi fun because we have a flat gas price and you don't have to worry about how much gas you put in. You could put more, but it'll only be charged the flat price.
And what is the flat price?
What's that? Oh, the flat price. The flat price is based on. It's not flat as in everything is the same. The gas price is flat. So I think it's it's like 500 Gwei. But what it means is everyone, if you're doing the same transaction, if you're doing bidding on minting an NFT or transferring one kind of token for another in an AMM or something like that, the gas, those will all cost the same. You can't even opt to pay more to jump the line, right? Yep. Which is one of the things that causes front running. And there's some other things that cause front running. We've cured them all. Front running is the most crappy thing about DeFi to me. It's just like, I hate it. I hate looking at DEX tools and then seeing that little red burglar there showing that somebody straight up stole money from me.
Exactly.
So we solved all those, and then that sort of segues into why we're working on NFTs, because we built a really cool platform for NFTs where, before what you mostly did is bought and sold and owned NFTs, and there's a little bit of staking and things like that are coming in, but NFTs generally, especially on Ethereum, but others as well, they're not really designed to be actively used, right? And that's because it's so expensive, or whatever, and just it has been for so long that there sort of hasn't been the imagination there to say, well, what else could we do with them? It's so expensive, no one's going to do it. Now suddenly we go, well, it's basically free. It's just enough of a price. It's gonna be 3 cents or something that you wouldn't just do spammy stuff. But if you want to do a socialify stuff and send points to somebody, or like what they did, or share your current status. So many people use these as like a profile picture, but no one's ever implemented the sort of profile elements of a profile picture. And so we're doing all that. They will be 3D, even though they're 8-bit punks. They'll be we also have things where they have bodies, and we're also doing generation of basic, it's the same basic generation protocols that formulas that we use to make layered 2D generation. We can do 3D in Blender and automate that and have those for everybody who buys one. So that's coming up soon. It's pretty cool. So you can have that and use that in the metaverse. And because I'm a game maker from way back, I've thrown in, I thought we should throw in stuff where They basically have pretty much D&D style game traits. But that means that you could play games with them, and people could use them however they want. You could have a Telos Punk Mario Kart, and dexterity is is handling, right? Strength is braking, whatever. Yeah, go ahead, play this. This is cool, and that's me.
So we got. Let me just play this real quick. Is that a DeLorean? Is that supposed to be a DeLorean?
Check it out. Of course it is. It's got. There's the flux capacitor right there.
Oh, the flux capacitor. Oh man. So tell us about.
I mean, we're having fun, man. These things should be super fun. That's what I think.
Absolutely. So like what does this all encompass? I know there are 10,000 unique NFTs.
Yep.
Give us the rollout. I know it's coming out today. So guys, go out there to telospunks.com. Join that. But yeah, to mint them. But kind of tell us, are there any perks for minting with Telos tokens, or sometimes those types of campaigns are run at the launch?
Yeah, so their flat price of 200 Telos, unless you're on the white list, and I'll let you figure out how to give away like 3 white list spaces on your show to your users, however you want to do that. The white list gets earlier access and by I think half a day, and their whitelist price is 180 Telos instead of 200.
Okay.
These are we absolutely didn't copy the original punks, which is sort of an homage, but developed all our own stuff, right? Okay. And then just added a bunch of features, a bunch of social media features where you can talk to other Telos owners. You can use these built-in features for games and things like that, like I was talking about, or metaverse interaction. We're using it as a ticketing system. So Telos is one of the larger sponsors of Consensus this year, coming up in Austin. I hope I can see you there.
Yeah, I'll be there for sure.
Yeah. So we have 100-seat theater. Telos has 100-seat theater that as a venue, as an additional venue within Consensus, because we're like a pretty high tier sponsor, and so that is going to be, we're going to have some really cool people that you're going to want to see talking, and some and the culmination, the finals of our big hackathon that's going on right now, and some other things like that. So that is something that you have to get on an invite list ahead of time to get into, unless you own a Telos Punk. And we have a basic simple Telos Punk ticketing system where you can just prove you have a Telos Punk and you can walk in, not have to like a VIP. Because of course, if you have a Telos Punk, you are a VIP.
This is interesting, man. I can't wait till this drops. I'm gonna get me a few of them for sure.
Oh, I mean, they're cheap, right? Compared to, if you look at anything, and then like even if we weren't adding all this utility, I mean, it's pretty cheap for a punk. Like each chain seems to have its own punk homage, and they all do them a little differently. Right. But this is the one that Telos is doing. I'm involved in it, and some great artists and stuff like that. So it's not, we're not going anywhere. And so we just want this. I mean, to me, this is going to be the challenge coin of whether you're, if you're a Telos OG, pick them up now for 200 Telos, no big deal, or later on buy in for whatever that price may be. But it's gonna have tons of utility. We're gonna redefine utility with Telos Punks.
That's excellent. You're bringing some fun to the blockchain, to the community, because it's been
I blew your mind a little bit there, man.
Yeah, no, I'm really like excited about this. Crazy. But Telos has always been like so serious and trying to better the technology, the blockchain stack, and it is. But this is great to see kind of the fun side of the tech being used and leveraged, right?
Yeah. Well, I think that I mean, Yeah, you're right. We're serious, and we're building value, and we care about governance. We care about community management and everything like that. But I think we're also fun. I gotta say, um, I think that EOSIO, the EOSIO landscape, is just not nearly as fun as the EVM Ethereum communities and landscape.
No,
They
yeah,
do
yeah.
crazy, unicorn stuff and rainbows and things like that, and we all like do a bunch of infighting, which that is changing too.
Mm-hmm.
I'm working closely with the ENF, believe it or not, and
Oh, really? Okay.
yeah, to yeah, that's news.
Yeah.
Um,
What's going on with the? Can you divulge anything?
I can. It's all public but boring. So, so the ENF has. So this is a meeting I had today, and these if you want to if you want to watch this today's was 2.5 hour. If you want to watch the recording of the 2.5 hour meeting
Mm-hmm.
about how we talk about how we're going to do these, it's largely me and some guys from Telos, Yves LaRose, and some guys from ENF and EOS, and representatives from some other chain, from most of the other chains, have at least one or two representatives there, and we're talking about ways that we can take over for Block One, who always did a horrible job. In my view, I mean, they did a pretty good. The one good thing they were good at was EOSIO development, but even that could be a lot better. We're not looking to replicate the process. So you can watch these things. They're excellent for insomnia cures. If you want to see a bunch they're reminiscent of the old days when we were launching EOS itself. A lot of people don't know that I was also involved in that, and it's a bunch of faces on a Zoom call, and they're all trying to, there's the mix of cooperation and competition. In this group, there's a lot of cooperation, and what I want to see is that we, there's a lot of complaining about how B1 operated in terms of not investing in the system and not ever giving a roadmap to what the development was going to be and things like that.
Well, let's not cry over spilled milk, right? We got to look forward.
Well, we have
backwards.
to. Yeah, no. I'm just saying that's true. Now it's not up to us, and
that's
now
right. That's what I'm saying.
I think we need to show that we can do something better. I've been trying to do that on Telos. Like we try and for a couple of years now, we've been getting a public roadmap out and getting people, so that people know what we're talking about. I've been giving every quarter, at the end of every quarter, I give a report, just like it was some kind of public company or something, which is not. But I just want people to know what we're working on. And I would bring, these are things that I would bring that I think have been successful. And I think it could really help EOSIO as a whole to have, at the very least, EOS and Telos, we've pretty much committed to this, work together to do this building, and I think that's probably news. I think that we want to make sure this is great, and then whoever else wants to join us can join us. The EOS side is doing a lot. The ENF is doing a lot to doing more, an outsized amount of the funding. We get a deal on the funding, but to be honest, Telos has, over the last 3.5 years, figured out a lot of the mistakes and how to build a Telos foundation, how to build a core developer group, and so there's a lot of learning curve that we can help them with, and it's a good deal for both of us. And the more chains that come in, the better a deal it is for everyone. So that's what we're working on, because it needs to happen.
Yeah. What's your thoughts? This is kind of off the subject of Telos. What are your thoughts about Fractally, which was kind of first introduced with Eden? Eden. Yeah, that concept. I thought that's a neat way to kind of KYC, but not,
Yeah, I think I have mixed feelings about that. So my feeling, I think that's interesting, and I think it's well worth the experiment. And I think there's value in it, in what you were just talking about, in a way to try to better ensure that there's like sort of one to remove like the Sybil hack problem. But I'll just be honest, my experience with Dan Larimer is that
that's Dan right there calling.
Yeah, that's Dan. He's calling. Uh-oh. Speaking of yeah, I'm gonna change what I say. My experience with Dan, that was awesome. My experience with Dan is that he wants to do. He's interested in things that are his own inventions, or that he can make seem like they're his own inventions. He's not interested in other things that might also be good, unless they're his. I mean, these aren't secrets. This is not my opinion. This is stuff he's admitted.
Right.
He wants to do his thing. He sees his own way. He is not interested in playing ball with anyone or being a team member with anyone. And he's been wrong about a lot of stuff. And also, he's got this sort of the shiny, the squirrel kind of thing, where he gets, other project. He leaves every project after about 3 years, and then he gets his shower coin idea and stuff like that. And you could even say that he basically left EOS.io after 3 years, and now he's coming back in on the Fractally thing. So it's fine. It's good that he wants to. It's good that he wants to be involved. He's very clear. He wants to be involved the way he wants to be, the way it suits his desires, and no other way. And so I think that really limits the ability to have a meaningful contribution. So I couldn't go like this thing I was just talking to. I can't go to EOSN or EOS or Eve or whoever and go, yeah, hey, Telos is in, but only on the things we want to be in.
Right.
Like that's not going to work. We have to.
And I think that's why Eve and Dan have been butting heads lately too.
I'm not part of that at all. I'm not involved in any of that at all. I have, ironically, because when I joined that group, I said I'm really just here for the irony. People who don't know my background is I'm somewhat a divisive figure in the EOS.io world. Like Dan, I want to work on what I think is important.
Right.
Unlike him, though, and it's not all about him, I'm happy to work with others. So to be quite honest, even though EOS Nation or EOSN had a real big public blow up with Brock Pierce, Good Block, my company, is working with talks to Brock Pierce almost every day, and we started basically came up with the idea, planted the idea in people's heads of Chris Barnes, who's great,
I love Chris.
joining
Barnes.
the Telos Foundation as a board member, right, and gave him a lot of votes and started that. So I'm no one would guess it, and people would not believe if you told them this 3 years ago, but I'm trying to keep pretty much everybody who's interested in building this technology together. I have Good Block, and I have really good relationships with all these organizations, even when they don't have relationships with each other, because I think eventually they will, and maybe through that they will,
Right.
And I think that's better, but I know there's a lot of hurt feelings and stuff like that. I've been such a I'm gonna say maverick. You pick your own word, but figure in all of this, that there's a lot of people who don't like me or trust me or understand what my goals are, and that's fine, because if you want to be somebody who gets anything done, you can't worry about pleasing everybody.
True.
And I don't need that, but I recognize through that experience that you really do need to decide if what's important is your own aggrandizement, or if what's important is these things all work together. And I'm willing and open and excited to work with anyone who says, hey, I'm willing to put aside most of my issues so that we can make this thing work, because it's so important for everyone that uses the technology. And it's frankly, it's the best technology,
I think so.
One of the things that's awesome about Telos EVM right now is we get the underlying strength of EOS.io and the speed and all these advantages that we have, and then we get the fun and large user base and ability in a huge base of smart contracts that people can just drop on there that Ethereum and EVMs bring. and it's amazing. I mean, we're growing incredibly fast because people are just bringing projects on, and there's like, it's like a total green field where people can start new businesses and
Yeah,
new people.
We're actually doing a meetup locally here in Detroit on the 30th with Justin Giudice. You know him.
I
maybe.
do.
Just a little bit.
Just a little. I only talk to him daily.
Yeah, and he's gonna talk about how to, make money in this space, but on the Telos EVM side. We're trying to grab a lot of the Ethereum developers' attention, to leverage this tool.
If you think about it, it's a really easy sell, because you can, all these things have happened with like, BSC and Polygon and all those things, where it's a little bit faster, it's maybe a lot cheaper. They have their advantages, and there's a brand new field where, a lot of people trying to get Sushi and Uniswap and all these things to come on. But what we've learned, and we were too at first, what we've learned is that the real value creation in these is if you create something new that's good. It could be a fork or a improvement on something that already exists in Ethereum or Polygon or whatever, but it can be deployed really easily on Telos, exactly the same, right? Some of these people are just changing the graphics and redeploying, Pancake Swap, whatever. Right. But what they can do is they can also have their own growth tokens, governance tokens that people can earn. So while those things are, a lot of those things have sort of wound down, the sort of the sweet spot financially of those things have wound down on the other EVMs. On Telos EVM, they're brand new, and and it's great. And we're also giving people, grants and things like that to build these things. And I'm sure that's one of the things that Justin will be talking about there, like how to get money, how to get, like, our hackathon has a real big prize. It's not some diddly stuff. It's real money. And then we're giving out grants, and we've committed to 12 million Telos over the next 4 years, which, at $1 is $12 million. At $5, it's more, at $20 per Telos, it's more. So it could be some real money, and enough to really get people a great foothold on Telos. So I think Telos EVM is the place,
It's still undervalued. I don't understand. It's not for me to understand, I guess.
No, well, I mean, look, this is the same conversation. Okay, the same conversation we had like last time we got together, which was a year ago, and you said it's so undervalued, and I'm like, well, I don't talk about price, but yeah, right. And then hey, 100x, that's good. And I would say the same, I have the same feeling now. You're just as right now. It's not like it was, because it's not like we sat, like and again, not to diss on Cardano or anything, but if you look at, it's just so funny, if you look at the value that we've actually built on Telos, right? Like, we built the first EVM that's its own EVM. We found, in doing so, our audit discovered problems with with Ethereum, right? Right. I mean, you can't look at this and say, oh, those guys aren't doing anything, and we use a different methodology than Cardano, which is they talk about their peer review and everything like that. To me, I think that's ridiculous, because first of all, it suggests that ongoing testing and open source software isn't also peer reviewed. It is, but it's peer reviewed along the way, right? And the whole idea of, like, do you do everything and try and get it perfect and then release it, or do you do iterative things? That anyone who knows anything knows the answer to that, and that is that iterative processes,
especially in software engineering.
Well, especially, it's absolutely
like necessary. You can't make the perfect code out the gate. It's just not going to happen.
You'll never make the perfect code. You're it's part of it. You're kidding yourself, right? It's because things change, things get, because conditions are always changing. So the idea that there even is perfect code to be achieved is the wrong way of looking at it. The idea that you could make something that's so good and then it's peer reviewed and never has to be updated again is to me ridiculous. It's just the wrong. Everything I've learned in 50 years of doing all kinds of projects in all kinds of fields, technical, artistic, and everything, tells me that you have to do it as an iterative process. You have to constantly, assess, build, assess, build, implement, right. Assess, build, implement. And if you think you're going to short circuit that, you're kidding yourself. So the result is that instead of us waiting to still put out smart contracts and things like that, we've put out obviously we get smart contracts for free with using EOS.io software, but we put out our own unique governance system. We put out, I don't know if you've even looked at Decide Voter yet, our governance mobile app for the interface for the Decide governance system. That's a major build. That's huge. That's revolutionary. And we built it because we needed it. We're putting out D-Store. That's also a good block product that is, closely aligned and with Telos. It's kind of hard to tease everything apart. That's cloud storage. That's decentralized cloud storage. That's faster than IPFS and cheaper than Amazon, but real world business, but aligned for real world businesses to use it because it can be paid through credit cards and you don't have to, and you have a simple invoicing process, and the system itself goes and finds you all your nodes, not you don't need to go and set up all of those relationships yourself like you do in most of the other Filecoin type architectures. That's another thing. EVM, that's another thing. Like, the amount of stuff that we're building as a group is remarkable. It all has real utility because we've built every one of these things for ourselves as the first users. So we built it for our needs instead of building some solution in search of a problem. And so I think that yields like a really valuable product. And
I know we're messing up here in Telos.
All right, tell me, because
we're not feeding the kids in Africa.
We are feeding the kids in Africa.
Oh, we are. Okay,
dude, we're doing. Do you know about condo weather?
No, I don't.
Oh, you should know about this, man.
Nah,
we're doing so we're all over
under
Africa.
my radar.
We're all over.
No,
Africa.
I was throwing shade at Cardano.
Well,
they do a lot of philanthropic things out there, so that's always a headline.
We have a lot, but you're right. There is that, and over my head a little bit, because I'm excited about what is happening with Telos in Africa. So you may hear something pretty big in the not so distant future, not days or weeks, but maybe weeks or months. But I can tell you what we're doing right now with condo weather is a Boeing and former NASA engineer came to me. There it is, Declimate Telos. Yeah. So they came to me a couple years ago and said, hey, we have this great idea about all this stuff about weather balloons and this Western Africa is super important. All the hurricanes are born there, and
yep.
It's a black hole for data. It's like a dead zone. They only, satellites can take data can shoot down and get the surface temperature, but they can't get any kind of data about what's happening at various levels of the atmosphere. And so this guy had this plan for putting together, using 3D printing to print these little boxes that hold these single board Raspberry Pi computers with sensors that use weather balloons. They're only about the size of 2 Mylar birthday balloons, and since it's a lot of this has to be done off grid, they fill them up with solar powered oxygen splitting electrolysis units that create actual hydrogen instead of helium. Okay. Even though helium is a product of, ironically, helium is a natural byproduct of oil drilling, and Nigeria is one of the world's leading oil drillers. So there's should be no shortage of helium in Nigeria. There's no, and Ghana, there's no real way to get that. So instead, and they're off. We use these things to fill them up, and they float. It uses something called LoRaWAN, which is a radio relay to the internet, to talk to the Telos blockchain and record those things and pay the ones who launched them in blockchain. Wow. It's never been done. It can be rolled. Neat. It's already working there. One of the things it's doing there, we did a hackathon for interfaces, and as I understand it, I'm a strategic advisor to the project. So, but I don't think I'm selling anything. There's no coin. It doesn't have a coin. It's being used places. It's actually, just starting to generate some revenue, like in Senegal and other places, because they don't, like, imagine not having a weather report, right? You just don't have one. You just don't have a weather report. And if there is, like for me, it's like, what do you mean? Like, weather, we've had that stuff for forever. How can you not have an accurate weather report or reason, like, I'm not saying that they, sometimes it rains when they say it won't. I'm saying they got nothing. And the best they can do is maybe give an hour warning if there's going to be like torrential floods, because people die or lose their crops or livestock because of those things, right? And all they can do is try to save their lives, because there's lots of mudslides due to deforestation. So this has already created something where they can give 12 hours notice instead of 1 hour.
Nice.
Right? We're ramping it up so that these things are happening every day. And that Climate Cell project is going to be a great partnership. That's the same way that I am a strategic advisor in Climate Cell, in Condo Weather. Mark Cuban is a strategic advisor and investor in Climate Cell. So we're the same, or Declimate, or whatever it's called. So me and Mark Cuban, totally the same.
Yep.
No, this is new. That's
dope.
One of the things we're doing in Africa, and there's several, but one of the things we're doing is hopefully helping people save their lives and save their, and for people whose entire net worth is tied up in livestock, which is a lot, or crops, give them a way to have enough time to save those from, torrential floods. Meanwhile, give better data around hurricanes in the Atlantic, that hopefully we're going to get insurance companies to pay for, right? So they pay for it. That's what we're doing. So I'm pretty proud. I'm actually pretty proud about that.
Wow. Yeah. I was trying to make a joke and turned out to be actually something substantive there.
You should look into it. You should have those guys.
Hook me up with them, and I want to definitely shine some light on that for sure.
Yeah, people should know. It's incredible. I mean, this is why I was so happy, because this is it's a great example of why I got into this. And there's much more going on Telos, but that's one thing. And I really think if people just knew, okay, these guys are actually, intent and making progress, solving real world problems, I think they'd be I think people would be more interested. But it's happening. It's coming. And a lot of our world is just degens who want to make a buck, in a 30-minute or less, time frame, right?
Right.
So that's an important part of price appreciation too. But we go everywhere from there to like trying to change and better the living conditions of people in all kinds of countries, including developing nations. The fact that Telos was cheap for so long allowed a lot of people in developing nations to buy in and start building projects like this on Telos that they really never could have on Ethereum or something, because it's just too expensive. So it has had its silver linings, the what seems to you and me to be a low price. And it also, I think, to your point, people have a lot longer to sort of discover this, and
Right.
if you're right, and if what I hope is right, then they can still participate in that. So
I agree. Well, Doug, man, it's been a pleasure as always. I love having him on, guys. We have such an awesome time. Just to reiterate, guys, the Telos Punks will be going live on March 25th, depending on when you saw this video. It may have already passed, but get over there, be a part of history. Crypto Blood is a big supporter of this blockchain and community. I love Telos. And,
awesome.
We're going to be doing another interview in a few days on another channel. I'll plug you guys in on that, because EOS Detroit, we're now known as Detroit Ledger Technologies. We're doing a lot of good things with Telos as well. So you guys got to vote for EOS Detroit. Come on, get those votes up,
Detroit.
People.
So hey, one thing I want to show you. I gave you a graphic of our. I gave you a graphic of how our of one of our renderings of how we're going to use Telos Punks in the future. So I gave you that. It's based on this.
There we go. That's the classic Doug holding his mug.
Doug in his mug. Yeah.
Doug in his mug. There you
go.
Doug
in his Doug Don't Rug mug. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that, just for fun, we kind of modeled. They were modeling out how you turn a punk, a 2D punk, into a 3D punk, and then they just put it into a background, just like mine. And I just thought it was funny, man.
All right, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure to check out telospunks.com. Also check out telos.net. Man, great blockchain. I'm telling you guys, still early. No price talk, but I just gotta state the obvious. Do your own research, as always, right? Well, Doug, it's been a pleasure. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you.
That's another Kicking the Session with Douglas Horn and Crypto Blood. Make sure you guys like, share, and subscribe, and click that bell to receive more videos like this. We out of here. Holla!
If you want to see more videos and interviews like this from influential people in tech, finance, and sports, subscribe to the channel and make sure you hit the bell to be alerted. And go a step further and join the YouTube and membership area for early releases of videos like this. I'm out of here. Ha!